5 most impressive heists of all time. Heists have always been glamorized in movies, and people are fascinated watching them when fictional characters are involved. But there have been a few magnificent heists in the past that involved a great deal of money and creative execution. In this video, we'll share 5 of the most impressive heists here. So let's get started. Antwerp Diamond Heist. Antwerp Diamond Heist stands as one of the biggest heists in the world, which went on for 2 hours. This heist involved the theft of diamonds worth around $100 million, which was carried out in 2003 by the gang called School of Turin, led by Leonardo Bartolo. He was believed to be the mastermind, but he negated, saying he was approached and recruited by an anonymous diamond dealer for the task. The gang was able to bypass a layer of high security previously thought of as impossible, despite fully functional security cameras, as they deceived the security system. The next day, security guards found steel doors and 100 of 189 vaults open. The diamonds were never recovered, even though more than half of the gang was arrested. Notar Bartolo was later arrested and sentenced to 10 years of prison. Brazilian bank robbery. Brazilian bank robbery was another amazingly thought-out plan just on the verge of being executed in 2017. A tunnel was dug from a house several blocks away towards the vault of Banco do Brasil, containing 1 billion reals or $318 million. Though it was said that the tunnel was dug by hand over 4 months, it was believed that help was taken from engineers to build such a well-equipped 1.5-meter-high tunnel reinforced with iron beams filled with facilities of food, lighting, water, and digging material. It was so creatively planned that similarities could have been drawn of a heist 12 years back where the gang made off with a sum of $70 million. According to Chief Police Officer Fabio Pineiro Lopes, it would have been the world's biggest heist. Alceu Gomes Nogueira, 35 years old, was the ringleader who was also involved in another robbery in Paraguay. But the security caught up with the gang just in time, saving potentially the biggest heist in the world. $500 million cyber heist. The $500 million cyber heist started in 2009 when cyber criminals from Eastern Europe infiltrated 100 banks in 30 countries worldwide, ranking in at least $1 billion from fraudulent transfers and hijacked ATMs over a period of 2 years altogether. This was done through a virus called Trojan via a malware app called SpyEye. Russian banks were attacked first, and then banks in Germany, China, and the United States were attacked. They got away with it initially, but later were tracked down. Alexander Androvic Panin, the inventor of SpyEye, who went by Gribbo Demon and Harder Man, online pleaded guilty to a court of conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud in January 2014. SpyEye was developed from 2010 to 2012 and infected more than 50 million computers, causing nearly $1 billion in damage to individuals and financial institutions around the world. Another man, 27-year-old Algerian, known online as BX1, was sentenced to 15 years. According to reports, he sold versions of SpyEye online at prices ranging from $500 to $1,000 and used the malware to steal financial information and force the victims on surrendering the account information. He was later put behind bars for his crime, but was warned by the U.S. attorney to prepare police regarding investigating cyber crimes, as it requires a completely different skill set. France's heist of the century. France's heist of the century in July 1976 was led by a French criminal, Albert Spaggiati, nicknamed Bert. He was known as the organizer of the break-in into a Société Générale bank in Nice, France. An 8-meter-long tunnel was dug into the bank vault from below. He rented a box in the bank vault for himself and put a loud alarm clock in the vault. He set the clock to ring at night to check for any acoustic or seismic detection gear. In fact, no alarms were protecting the vault because it was considered impenetrable. On July 16, 1976, Spaggiati's gang broke into the vault itself. They opened 400 safety deposit boxes and stole an estimated 30 to 100 million francs worth of money, securities, and valuables. It was the largest heist in the history of bank robberies to that date. Upon leaving on July 20th, they left a message on the wall of the vault saying, "Without weapons, hatred, or violence." In 2010, Jacques Cassandri published a book, The Truth About the Nice Heist, in which he claimed responsibility for the 1976 robbery and that Albert Spaggiati only played a little part. He could not be prosecuted for the crime under French law, as it was around 40 years ago. However, he was arrested on suspicion of money laundering, using proceeds of the robbery to fund business ventures in Marseille and Corsica. $1 million pharmacy robbery. $1 million pharmacy robbery took place in 2016 at a Super Value Pharmacy in Fort Worth, Texas, just on the morning of December 31st. The general manager, Jane Longenbaum, said that the pharmacy at 720 North Industrial Boulevard was broken into in the early morning hours, and highly marketable drugs and pharmaceuticals worth $1 million were robbed from the safe that was cut at the side by men clad in black. According to an employee, Richard Irby, he was tied up along with 3 other employees. While the robbers didn't try to hurt anyone, they waved their guns at them, which got them scared and wondering if someone would pull the trigger for these drugs. Robbers filled the bags with narcotics and ran through the back door. Irby also commented on how these robbery incidents are increasing in pharmacies and that these robbers are after yellow, hydrocodone, soma, and Xanax, which are the most demanded drugs. This is it for today's video. Which heist interested you the most? Let us know. Stay tuned with us for more intriguing crime stories. But until then, goodbye.